Welcome guys to my channel. This is SoundCreation. My name is Ayatunde. It's been a minute. I'm glad to be back with another video. Today I want to show you how to sound like a grand piano, like a real acoustic grand piano whenever you play a keyboard. And yeah, let's just dive right into it. Good. So there are a few requirements you'd need, and I'll run through them as we go along. First, you need a keyboard that is advanced enough to have a realistic sounding grand piano. You can't just bring a plastic toy and expect to emulate the sounds of a grand piano. Okay, before I go along, I should first clarify that these devices and not pianos. I hear people call, well, I think that definition is being stretched these days, but these normally, technically are not pianos. These are keyboards. Keyboards, yeah. And they've evolved over years, you know, to emulate the sounds of many different instruments. A piano is an actual piano. It's an acoustic instrument that has actual strings, actual hammers that strike on the strings when you depress the action, the keys, you know. So these are keyboards, not grand piano. Just take note of that. So how do you make keyboards sound like actual grand pianos? There are a number of requirements, as I said earlier. The first thing is your device has to be realistic sounding enough. You can't bring just any plastic and expect it to sound like a grand piano. So I'm using today the PSR E473, and I know it has some realistic enough sounds to emulate the grand piano. It has a number of grand piano voices. Today I'm using the live concert grand, which is, I think, an upgrade compared to the previous model. The previous model should be the E473, which had the normal grand piano. Today I have here is it, the live concert ground. It sounds something like this. Something like that. That's the live concert ground. You can see it. The previous model had this, I think, just the grand piano, which sounds something like. I think the live concert ground is an upgrade over it. Listen. So that's the first requirement. Entry-level keyboards, as this is, we're starting to have better emulation of the grand piano voice, so this passes well. So that's the first thing you need, because regardless of other techniques you want to use, if the keyboard itself cannot emulate a realistic piano voice, you're going nowhere. Two, you would need the sustain pedal. I have this Yamaha sustain pedal, because grand pianos have the sustain pedal to help with fluid playing, so you would need preferably a sustain pedal. Some keyboards have the sustain function. It's not a single button here, but you can go to the settings and activate the sustain. I think it's better when you have the sustain pedal, because you can decide when to or when you want to not use the sustain, like I just did. Or when you want to add a sustain. You see, so you would need the sustain pedal to play fluidly, because there are times when you're playing, you know, when you switch between sustain and not sustain. So you can't be present, sustain on, off to emulate real playing. You have to have the sustain pedal so you can activate and deactivate at will, you know, like I just explained. You see? That sort of thing. So that's another requirement for you. The third thing is the style of playing. You have to employ certain graces when you're playing the grand piano to make it sound. You see when people are playing and they're moving their hands like that, you have to be able to evoke the sensation that makes them do that, because that's what helps you touch the keys a certain way. You have to be able to do that to sound. You can't just back. No. You hear how that sounds. I'm just emulating how a grand pianist plays with my finger movements. So that's another thing you need. If you have a keyboard that has the 88 key range, the better for you. If it's a 61 key version like I have, then you should be able to find ways to employ the lower registers. This, you hear that? You should be able to find a way to do it. Many keyboards have this octave plus minus thing that allows you to do that. That kind of stuff. It just makes it sound like you're playing an actual grand piano. When you play that and people hear you, they have the feeling you're playing a proper grand piano. In the same way, you should be able to go down. You should be able to go all the way up as well. So that sort of thing. On 88 key keyboards, that's easy. You don't have to play around with your octave plus minus key button. However, on 61 key keyboards like this, you would need to do that. You would need to use the octave plus or minus. Decide if it's worth that trouble. One more thing you can employ to make you sound like you're playing an actual piano. It's a trend these days where people, when they're playing piano voices, even electric pianos, they employ this piano growl thing where they just slam their palms on the lower end of the keyboard, and it sounds like that. They typically use this when you have songs that are maybe going from verse to chorus and the energy is climbing. They might want to switch to that higher energy. They put this in between. It's nicer when it's on the lower range. Let's do something like. Then you're going to the imaginary chorus. You do. That sort of thing. So that growl just. Then you're going to the chorus. See? Sounds better when you can go even lower. So like. Again. So those are a few tips I have to share with you to make your playing sound like a real grand piano. I'm sure there are more that you guys do. So let's know in the comments what other tips and tricks we can employ to make us sound like we're playing an actual grand piano. I hope this was fun to you to watch. It was fun for me making it. If you enjoyed it or if you gained any sort of value, please leave a like. It means a lot. And subscribe too. There is a lot more coming your way. I have a ton of videos piled up on my schedules as a medical doctor. Makes it hard for me to be able to sit like this, plan and shoot them. But be rest assured, there's a lot more coming your way. Like I said, if you enjoyed this, leave a like right now. Do it. And subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more coming. Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye. Oh, let me be sure I'm recording though. Oh, good. Yes, this is Ayotunde. My name is Sound.